Good evening and welcome to the Town of Rockland Select Board meeting for Tuesday, January 6, 2026. Please stand and join me for a salute to the flag. Chief Duffy, can you lead us in the pledge?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be advised that this open meeting is being broadcast live and recorded for playback by WRPS at youtube.com/WRPS Rockland. Please go to WRPSRockland.com for further information. First on the agenda, community announcements. Doug?
Thanks, Mike. Town Clerk Liza Landy wanted me to announce to the public that town election, town election nomination papers are available now to pick up at the town clerk's office. That's all I have.
Thank you, Doug. Next on the agenda, minutes. Entertain a motion to approve the minutes from December 16th, 2025.
Motion to approve?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Yep.
It's unanimous. Thank you. Next, under new business, recognition of Rockland firefighters for outstanding acts of heroism and bravery. Doug.
Thanks, Mike. So we have a number of firefighters here with us tonight, as well as the leadership of the department. These firefighters, there are 7 of them, which you'll be, I think, announcing individually one by one to be recognized for their outstanding acts of heroism and bravery, and were recognized by the state as Firefighter of the Year. And I know that Select Board Member Childs and O'Donnell were there for part of that ceremony. I'm sure they'll want to share some of that, but we're all very appreciative and proud, and I'm going to turn it back over to you, Mike, to do your thing and recognize each one of them.
Thank you, Doug. First, I just want to invite Chief Duffy to the desk, to the microphone, to kind of explain what the events that occurred on this night.
Good evening, Board. Thank you for doing this to recognize, true heroes within the community in this amazing act of heroism that unfolded before my eyes back. It was June 21st of 2024. Recognized by the state this past November. So I do appreciate you doing this. Early in the morning on June 21st, 2024, fire department received a call. It's a third-party call, kind of came in, kind of one of those innocuous, very unknown, routine calls for, smoke detectors sounding. We got out-of-town, somebody from out of town called stating that, they think the smoke detectors are going off over at the parents' house. So the on-duty crew that night went over to investigate it and pulled up to a working house fire. Quickly found that there were 2 elderly occupants within that building that were trapped and needed to be rescued. Firefighter Henderson, who was operating the engine that night, quickly rushed in and was able to see one of the victims. Now, when you're operating the engine, it's not often that you're in full gear or, wearing an air tank or anything like that. His duties really wouldn't necessitate him to be in full gear. He rushed in because he could see one of the occupants, grabbed him, was able to pull him to safety, carried him, lifted him right up, carried him out. And from then, they ascertained that there was another victim located within the first floor of the house. Captain Fricker and his crew that night made multiple attempts to go in to the heavy fire conditions and heavy smoke conditions in order to make saves and to search the house. At one point, Captain Fricker separated himself from the remainder of his crew to search one part of the house and was pushed back from the heat and smoke. That alone in itself, to make that decision is, just putting yourself above everybody else into going to try and make that rescue is amazing. Make a search of the house and to pull the victim to safety. Unfortunately, that victim succumbed to their injuries later at the hospital, but it was a team effort that night by the firefighters. Working that night was Captain Jason Fricker. He was the shift officer. Firefighter Thomas Henderson, firefighter Liam O'Flaherty, firefighter Mark Oshery, firefighter Robert Creighton, firefighter Kyle Costa, and firefighter Reed Broderick, who each had a hand in making the rescues, the saves, and then attending to the patients afterwards and getting them to the hospitals. What we do, it's amazing how much of a team that they have. They were honored by the state, like I said, back in November, and received a unit citation for their heroism. Firefighter Henderson did receive a Medal of Valor for his efforts in rescuing one of the victims. Tonight here we have five of them tonight. Unfortunately, Kyle Costa is out of the country on vacation, and firefighter Reed Broderick could not make it. He has child duty tonight, so unfortunately. But we do have 5 of them with us tonight, so thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Anybody on the board have any comments in regards to this? I know Rory and Steve, you guys were both able to make the award ceremony in Worcester.
Yeah, the award ceremony in Worcester was pretty amazing. We heard, how many stories was it? About 30, 40?
About that.
Yeah, and it's incredible what you guys do. And I'm sure you'll be up for another Firefighter of the Year citation for the Webster Park save. And just thank you so much. And I'm just want to say I'm proud of every one of you. I'm proud to have you guys represent Rockland. You're one of the shining stars.
Yeah, thank you.
So-
And it really, we appreciate that. It really goes to, the members here tonight. We have, a department of 31, and, and it's really the 29 and 28, 29 that are on duty and working day in, day out, do 24-hour shifts that make the difference. They're with the public every day, so, it's really them that deserve the thanks, yeah.
Yeah, I have to say the ceremony was awe-inspiring. Takes a certain kind of a person to want to become a firefighter. It truly is a calling, what you guys do day in and day out, and in these most dire of moments, really changed the life of that family by saving that gentleman. So thank you all for what you do every day, and in particular that day.
Right. And thank you very much for entering each day with the courage and the bravery to not know what is waiting for you on the other side of that day, and for keeping us all safe. So thank you very much.
Yeah, again, I think I mentioned this at the fire appreciation. My father was a firefighter, 2 of my uncles were firefighters, so I kind of grew up in that world, adjacent, so to speak. And I just want to thank you and your families for everything that that you all do for us, and it is greatly appreciated.
And I'll just reiterate what the rest of the board said. So oftentimes we see things about the town that may not, shed the town in the most positive light. We never see that with your department, and the acts of bravery and heroism that you guys displayed today is indicative of the hard work and the training that you guys all go through and the pride that you take in the job that you have. And for that, speaking, I feel probably for the board, we're eternally grateful for that. And as a resident, the residents of this town couldn't be more grateful for the job that you guys do. And I think you guys have seen that over the last year or so, a lot of support over the last year for you guys. I think people are going to get bored of you guys eventually. So, but we're not there yet. And I feel like we'll have another ceremony coming up. And I think it's important, I've spoke to the chief and Doug and Chief Zioli as well, about taking the opportunity and recognizing these acts of heroism. They don't happen every day. It's not the everyday thing where somebody rushes into a burning building and saves occupants and continues to go back in to try to save more people. So for that, you guys should all be commemorated. So with that, I'm just going to read what the certificate says, and I'm going to come down. I'm going to introduce you guys each individually. And I'm never one that says hold the applause, so by all means, clap away for each one individually. So the certificate says, this award is being presented to firefighter, Rockland Fire Department, in recognition of extraordinary courage, professionalism, and selfless dedication to duty. Through decisive action and personal bravery, placed themselves in harm's way to protect life and property under dangerous conditions. These actions reflect the highest traditions of the fire service and bring great credit upon firefighter, Rockland Fire Department, and fire service as a whole. Signed by myself and town administrator. So with that. Of course, the first one is in here, but Reed Broderick. Kyle Costa. Broderick Reed. I think they're gonna do it all at the end. If you want one with me,
Right over here.
Oh, that's what I was saying.
I see.
No worries. Firefighter William Flaherty. Firefighter Mark Osher. Firefighter Thomas Henderson. And Captain Jason Fricker. And then on behalf of the town of Rockland, we're going to present a certificate of recognition to the entire fire department to be hung at the fire department to commemorate this event. Outstanding acts of heroism and bravery. To the Rockland Fire Department, which exemplified courage and professionalism at the Webster Park Rehabilitation. That's the wrong one.
There's too many, that's the problem. We'll fix it.
Totally set up. Yeah, where's Sue?
She has a hammer.
Awesome. Hey, Chief, this is for you.
You can present it to Captain Fricker.
All right, well, that's for a different occasion. Now you know.
Yeah.
We do pictures first and here's everybody else.
All right. Oh, they're going to graduate first, yeah. And then they'll get it.
We're shaking hands and then we'll.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes.
Thank you so much, Mark.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Want to do behind?
Chief, you good? You
You're good.
All right, sir.
Very good.
Great.
Well
Thank
done.
you so much.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Appreciate it. Thank you. Grab that.
I will take responsibility for the plaque.
No, that's, I
Mix
should have
up
read it before I walked out here.
Multiple acts of heroism by our department.
Yeah.
Too many.
It's a long day.
Yeah, no worries. All of a sudden I'm reading it, I'm like, that makes no sense. Like, what are we doing? So Chief, just on behalf of the rest of the board, we appreciate obviously your leadership in the department.
No, thank you, I appreciate it, but again, it is all them, they show up every day, and I think Tiffany put it best, is, you walk in the doors, at 6:45 in the morning, you have no idea what is going to occur for the next 24 hours, so, yeah.
So, all right, thank you, Chief, appreciate your time, appreciate your service.
He's got one more.
Oh, one more.
We're
Okay.
accepting the,
Oh, that's right, I forgot about that, yep.
Yes.
All right, next on the agenda, acceptance of new vehicle gift donated by Webster Park Rehabilitation. Good.
So the chief will really take it from here, but as a result of all the unbelievably outstanding work that the department and all the mutual aid departments and other partners that assisted in the Webster Park fire and evacuation, the nursing home would like to donate an SUV, a new vehicle specifically dedicated for the fire department. So given the size of this type of donation and especially the other things on the agenda that you just did, we thought it would make sense to have the board formally hear this from the chief and then take a formal vote to accept that on behalf of the department.
No, thanks, Doug. I think you summed it up pretty well. The ownership of the nursing facility, they're based out in New Jersey. Obviously very happy with, no injuries, no losses of life, minimal damage to the facility. They were pleased. They would like to make a donation to the department, and they suggested, an SUV. So we're bringing that before the board tonight, to formally accept, and that's where we're at. So, we're very grateful for that donation. It's much needed.
And I think in your packet, I just referenced
Yep.
the Mass General Law for accepting gifts, and then this was a copy of the letter that the nursing home sent to the chief with the donation.
Okay. Any questions, comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept this gift.
Motion?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you.
Well, thank you,
Yeah.
and again, thank you for all the support.
So,
Thank you.
so they didn't want to do a $2 million ladder truck?
Well, I asked them for an, I asked them for an ambulance.
I figured the
and they heard how
taxpayers
much-
might like that.
I tried for an ambulance, but they said it was a little bit too much,
It was
so,
worth a shot.
yeah.
Thanks,
So
Chief.
thank you.
Thank you to Webster Park for the
Yeah.
donation. We sincerely appreciate it.
For sure.
Next on the agenda, Pleasant Street landfill RFP contract awarded. Doug, anything?
Thanks, Mike. So we have a bunch of material in your packet. The board knows, and I think the public understands this subject. This is the RFP, the request for proposals the town put out to have a private company bring material into the Pleasant Street landfill, then pay to cap it, and then also provide additional amenities to the town on top of the landfill and potentially financial contributions that could be used for other recreational areas in town. At your last meeting, we received 4 proposals. One was rejected as non-responsive to all the RFP's requirements. The board interviewed the other 3 at your last meeting. I thought that was an excellent meeting. We had good questions. I thought a really good back and forth. So I'm hoping tonight that the board will be able to make a decision and award the contract. What's included in your packet is a one-page summary comparing the financial component of the RFP proposals. And I should just reiterate again for the public's benefit that the purpose of doing a request for proposals gives the board the flexibility to not necessarily go with the company that offers the greatest financial benefit. That's one criterion among many, but it's not the only one. It's not like when we go out to bid, say, to build a new fire station, we go with the low bid. That's the law. With an RFP, you have more flexibility. You might choose to go with a firm that offers the greatest compensation, but you don't have to. But that's, one of many criteria. So in addition to that summary, we have a one-page recommendation memo, which I'll highlight in a moment. Behind that, you have the original memo that we did before you did the first round of interviews, where we just summarized what the process was. And then following that, we have all the updated reference checks that our consultant engineer, CDM Smith, did on behalf of the town. And just to summarize those references again, they were all basically positive. You'll see some firms had more than others, but there really weren't any significant problems with any of those references. So as you'll see in the memo, all of the 3 firms especially that you interviewed, they're all good. They're all qualified. I think any one of them could do the job. So I want to be clear that we're going to recommend one. You're going to choose one, but that's should not be seen as a slight to any of the other 2 bidders, because they're all qualified. But it's a difficult job to have to try to figure out which one is the most qualified or the best fit for our community. Luckily, our review team, which included town staff, which we have a few of them here with us tonight, it included our consultant engineers, CDM Smith. I see Mary Mancini's here. And we also had our land use attorney, Bob Galvin. And so luckily for us, as we all, reviewed them, and then we're here for the interviews, and then we had follow-up meetings to kind of synthesize all the interviews, the strong consensus among the review team is to recommend that the board award the contract to Clean Earth LLC. And the very high-level highlights for why that recommendation is, they're very impressive track record completing similar projects, many similar projects to what we want to do here in Rockland. Their engineering expertise with tie and bond we thought was just outstanding. We thought that they had the greatest amount of knowledge and experience with the relevant state regulatory agencies, especially the Department of Environmental Protection. Clean Earth also is able to source their own material through their own materials management business. And because there's 2 parts to this equation. First, any company is going to have to get the material to bring in, because that's where they're getting their revenue to be able to construct the cap and the other amenities. and then they have to engineer it and build it and all that. And so some of the other firms, they're going to have to source it from external entities. And, I think John even asked the question, what if the market changes and what if there's not enough demand, et cetera, et cetera. This firm has this segment of their business already in-house, and it should be seamless. And then lastly, as I was just highlighting the whole point about RFPs versus going out to bid for a low bidder, the firm that we think is superior in all these other aspects is also offering the highest price proposal at $4.25 a ton. So based on all that, we're recommending you go with Clean Earth. Like I said, we have Dave Taylor here, Courtney's here, and representatives from CDM Smith who could answer technical questions. And with that, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Doug. All right, what's the will of the board? Anybody have any thoughts or
Yeah.
opinions on this? Or-
Yeah. I noticed that Clean Earth put in their proposal nearly double the tonnage as the other two. Can you explain or talk more to that?
Well, let me say
As to
one
why.
thing maybe before Mary or Dave jump
Yeah.
in, which is that with some procurements, different RFPs, there might be an actual form that someone has to fill out to submit their price proposal, and it might have certain assumptions included that they can't alter. But this is such a blank slate, so to speak. We wanted the firms to be creative. We wanted to see what they came up with. So different firms did have different ranges and different projections. Ultimately, though, it will be up to the town how high the elevation we want to see, how steep the slopes are going to be, and it'll be up to the DEP to approve, what's ultimately selected. But in the end, the prices are per ton. So even if there is a lower volume than, say, what Clean Earth is saying is realistic or reasonable, they will still generate more revenue to the town because it's a greater amount per ton. And there's additional compensation as well. But so I'm not worried about that because we didn't stipulate we're only willing to accept this many cubic yards or this many tons. We left that kind of open to see how creative they'd be. And my understanding, the engineers can speak for themselves, that these are reasonable assumptions that they built in. I don't know, Mary, would you want to?
Yeah, so to elaborate on that, I would say that the amount that goes into the landfill is going to be the same regardless of who you choose. So that amount is going to drive the cost and the benefit to the town. So we did an evaluation based on looking at the numbers per ton and assuming that it's the same across the board, it's still more beneficial to go with the recommended Clean Earth. So the other point to that, though, is that the amount that does get accepted is driven by what the ultimate goal is for what the town wants to see there, as well as what DEP will allow, because DEP will not, they may limit to some extent how much goes in there. So in order to make sure that we had an evaluation that was not biased based on tonnage, we did look at, if all proposals had put the same amount in, it would still be beneficial to choose the one that we have selected. But I can let Bob elaborate.
I think you hit it,
Okay.
right on the nail.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
And just to add to that too, certain firms, the amount of effort that they may put into placing and compacting or surcharging the
Yeah.
material can compress the trash or
I
the
was
waste
gonna
that's
ask
already
about
there
that,
and therefore fit more volume. There was a range from around 175,000 tons up to 480,000 tons, so there was a wide range, but as Mary said, all the firms, and Doug said, firms had different ranges and different prices assumptions to go with it.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
And I apologize for not introducing Bob Button earlier.
Yeah.
No worries.
the only other thing I would add is that the Clean Earth proposal included a post-closure monitoring piece, which is
Right.
very significant. It wasn't
I was gonna say
required,
that,
but it
yeah.
is needed by DEP, and the fact that they included that in their proposal, even without that included, they were still a more economic, better choice financially. With that, it's not even a question.
Yeah, so I think we pay, like $40,000 a year to have it monitored currently?
Yeah, you just read my mind. We pay
Yeah.
$40,000 a year out of the general fund, out of our operating
Yeah,
budget
so
to
that'll
cover that
save
expense.
us that cost for 30
Correct.
years, according
Yep.
to this proposal?
That's right.
Okay.
It'll also help too when you cap the site and it's properly closed out. There's mowing requirements on an annual basis and there's other things that you might need to do. So that fund that they proposed would offset future operations costs that you otherwise be experiencing.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
I want to thank all three companies for coming out with their proposals. I'm sure a lot of work went into creating those and getting them to us. I tend to agree with the recommendation from the review committee. Clean Earth, financially, it's no question. But I think their proposal was much more comprehensive. I think all three firms really took the environment into consideration. I think that's something that our townspeople are really concerned about, as there's a river that runs right along the property, and behind the property is a lot of wetland. It's something that we'll be sure to monitor as this project moves forward. I think, with the state of the economy, we had a preview of the budget last meeting. Any additional revenue that we can look to bring into this town or save through operating in this town, we need to seriously consider. And so with that, I will be following along with the recommendation.
Anybody else?
I'll just add that, walking out of here, I thought Clean Earth was the clear choice. And that was even before we kind of dove into the numbers. So I thought the gentleman who worked for the state, on the Big Dig and at Granite Links, that was huge. I'm going to set aside that he's from Cohasset. I'm going to ignore that he said that. But outside of that, everything about their presentation was I thought, better than the other two. And obviously the finances kind of is the cherry on top. So.
Yeah, and I have to agree with all that's been said. Thankful that we had three strong, good firms to choose from, but the Clean Earth proposal was just that much stronger that and I want to thank the committee that worked hard to also review and provide your recommendation.
Yeah, one more. One more. Just one
No,
more
go
quick thing.
ahead, that's fine.
Yeah.
I guess I'll wait to talk. No,
Yeah. Thank you.
go right ahead.
So, Clean Fields is a local firm, and I typically like to, stay with local firms because of accessibility and everything, but Clean Earth, they just had the extra benefit of the monitoring fee per year, and I think that's what did it for them. And Nick Mucci, the engineer there, lives in Hanson, so, he's local, and there are other people that are local with Clean Earth too, so that's it. Thanks for everybody that bid. It was a neat process to be a part of.
Yeah, I'll kind of reiterate on that. I just want to thank the three firms that bid. It was, I think, a difficult decision, but ultimately came down to the details within the proposal and the experience that Clean Earth has. The other firms, I thank them for their passion. It was actually great to see, all three firms, you could tell they really enjoy what it is that they do, and they're passionate about it. So it did make it a tough decision for us, or for me anyway. But I think ultimately, I kind of see it the same way as the review committee did as well. So with that, I'll entertain a motion, if there's a motion to be made.
Motion?
Is that a motion?
It is a
Oh, that's a
motion.
motion. All right, a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Can I just to be clear for the minutes, the motion to award the contract to Clean Earth LLC for the
Okay.
Pleasant Street landfill cap?
Yeah, motion to award.
The contract.
The contract
To
to
Clean Earth
Clean Earth
LLC.
LLC.
Okay, so that's the motion. The second, I believe reflects
Second.
what that motion was? Okay. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor? That's unanimous.
Mike, can I add one thing to
Absolutely.
this, really just for the public's benefit? This vote that you just took, and I thank you for that, is not the end of this process. This is literally before the beginning, because first we're gonna have to negotiate the final terms of the contract, but then there's gonna be extensive community outreach before anything gets underway. So I just want the public to understand that there will be a lot of information to come and a lot of interactive parts of this where they will be able to get their questions answered and be put to
Feedback and
ease
input,
that there will be very, very strict regulations and oversight over this project. And in the end, we'll have a better site with less blight and more amenities for the community. And as Steve said, we'll have avoided costs and we'll actually have brought in additional revenue that's going to save the taxpayers money. So, thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Next on the agenda, snow and ice stipend, Highway Department, Highway Superintendent, Doug?
Yep, thanks, Mike. Dave is really here for the Pleasant Street landfill. He wasn't really here for this item. But I'll just say this is something we've done every year since I've been here, which is authorize an additional stipend for the highway superintendent, whoever that person might be, to do snow removal outside of their normal work hours. And this is really important because this is saving taxpayers' money. If the highway superintendent didn't offer to do this, it would cost taxpayers more to hire outside contractors to do this work, and it might not even be done to the same high standards that he holds. We've reviewed this with town council. It is legal. There are no problems with the state's conflict of interest law. All the terms are laid out in a letter that we've done every year. It's, again, significantly less than what the private contractors make. It's $50 an hour. It's restricted with times. There's a cap on the total amount of compensation. And as opposed to having something like this be an automatic, salary increase or something that was, automatically going to be compensated in the budget, this is only as needed. So for any hour worked, that person will get paid, and any hours that don't get worked, that he doesn't work for this, they won't get paid. So it's only as needed. I think it's pretty clear.
Okay. Any discussion? Any comments?
I have a question for Dave, if that's okay. So when you have a snow event, and there needs to be overtime given, is your crew offered that first to go out and?
For the overtime?
Yeah,
Yeah, they get overtime first.
okay.
I'm a secondary person, so if it comes to sanding like it has been, I will fill in for sanding if I have to drive a truck. I would rather not go salting or sanding, so, because that's usually, 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. They'll be going out tonight, so we have a full staff, but we haven't been staffed fully the last 2 weeks, so I have been driving a sander. I'm typically in a loader, like I think I brought up the last few years, my route is from Biggin's Funeral Home to Holy Family School, and I also do Town Hall, and I also do a lot of the loader work at high school and middle school for the schools. So that's my road. So, and that's in a loader. So whether it be a larger loader for a larger storm or a smaller loader for a smaller storm. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, anybody else?
I mean, I do have concerns about this. I know that we got an opinion from town council. Everything that I have read about this in the last week or so tells me that there may be a problem with us doing this. I'm going to check with the AG, the Inspector General, and maybe with ethics, just to be 100% sure that this is legal. So I will be voting no, just because I have concerns, not because I don't appreciate everything Dave does in attempting to save the town money. I just think if the law says that his pay gets set at town meeting, that means his pay gets set at town meeting. And I don't want to go too deep into because I know you all, at least 3 of you have previously, been perfectly good with this. So that's it.
Thank you, John. Anybody else?
Dave, quick question. What do you see average cost if you were to bring in a contractor to do this work per hour?
With a loader?
Yeah.
We pay a contractor $185 for a medium-sized loader and $225 for a large loader. So that
That's
includes
correct.
operator and loader.
And so, just so folks at home know, Dave's rate is $50 an hour, not to exceed 200 hours, for a total of $10,000. I think this precedent that's been set, John, I admire your due diligence on this, but I am, again, with the economy the way it is, and Dave, you're always looking for ways to improve this town and save the town money, and I appreciate that about you. And so, yeah, I'm in favor of this.
Okay, and there is a line that, John, if we were to find out something contrary, it says the select board may vote to terminate these payments at any time during the year.
Okay.
So with that said, sounds like there's an agreement here, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the snow and ice stipend for our highway superintendent.
Motion.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all those in favor? All those opposed? Thank you much. Next on the agenda, other new business not reasonably anticipated.
I have none.
Okay, old business, license renewals. You know what, I'll read this one for you.
Yeah. Nice guy.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
One champ.
Common victualler, Monero Steakhouse, 371 Union Street. Class 2, NR Automotive, 31 East Water Street. I'll entertain a motion to approve pending all
Obligations.
Obligations are met.
Motion to approve.
I got a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all those in favor? That's unanimous. Okay, so it goes back in the order for the next one. So Tiffany, you're up next.
All right.
All right, next on the agenda, license approval, common vicular, Tai Chow, 8 West Water Street. Doug, was anybody here from Tai Chow?
Yep, there are. Could you come on up to
Come on
the
up to
table
the
up here?
microphone.
So this is a new restaurant that's taken over a space in the center of town. So if you could introduce yourself and use this time as it's like a free commercial for your new business that you can help promote yourself and tell a little bit about it.
Hi, my name is, you can call me Tammy. I'm the owner of the Thai Show restaurant. We do a Thai food and sushi and a ramen noodle. It's a good food. I mean, so yeah, I have experience in a Thai restaurant for many years, like more than 10 years. So this is my first restaurant, my own first restaurant. So I just want you guys to try the food there. Yeah, we have a good chef. Yeah.
So I've heard only incredible things about your restaurant so far. The people that have tried it have
Yeah,
given
we
great
have
reviews on
some-
it so far.
I got some good review and some not good. So we try
You're
to
new,
fix.
you'll get
yeah,
there. You'll get there.
we try
Any-
to fix
any-
that now. Yeah.
Any comments, questions for Tammy?
Well, I want to tell you that my stepdaughter brought home pad thai last
Oh,
week, and
okay.
you'll have to tell me, but she had a orange drink with maybe coconut milk that you guys,
Oh, the Thai iced tea.
Yeah.
which was delicious.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so,
good.
and, happened to be very close to where your new restaurant is, so I have a feeling we'll
Thank you.
become good friends. But I
Yeah.
want to say, congratulations on your new restaurant, and I wish you the best of luck. And it's
Thank
going to
you
be a
so-
wonderful new addition to our town.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
Thank
I'm
you.
really looking forward to checking it out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank
Good.
you. Yeah.
All right, and with that, I want to entertain a motion to approve.
Motion approved.
Motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all those in favor? That's unanimous, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Welcome
much.
to town.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Next on the agenda, all alcohol license change of manager, Top Shelf Bistro, 120 Delahunt Parkway.
Yep, so we did not ask anyone to come in for this. It's not a public hearing. This is just a simple change of manager. This is Top Shelf Bistro is the restaurant at the level rink. All the paperwork's in order. We went over this several times with Sue earlier. So we do recommend approval of the change of manager.
Entertain a motion?
Motion.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all those in favor? That's unanimous, thank you much. Next on the agenda, other old business not reasonably anticipated.
I had none.
Okay, next on the agenda, town administrators report and correspondence. Doug?
Thanks, Mike. Just a few things. We've finished all of our budget meetings with department heads. Those have went well. And, excuse me, we've scheduled all of the department head budget meetings with the finance committee, so those are starting soon. We've also collected all of our capital requests from all departments, and I'll hand out a copy to you so you have it. The non-enterprise fund, meaning not water and sewer, totals a little over $5.4 million. And that does not include things like, transfers to stabilization or OPEB, things like that. These are just hard requests. We're obviously not going to be able to fund all of that, but it's important to see what the needs are. When I hand this out, you'll see that for my purposes, it's easier to have all requests on one sheet that we're going to potentially fund from free cash. But then I color-coded it. The ones in yellow are ones that will need to be on the capital plan, and they'll need to go before the capital planning committee. So I did that for Rich Harris and the committee. And then you'll see down below, for the enterprise funds, there's a little over $2 million in requests for water, and about $250,000 for sewer. And you'll notice on a couple of them, like for example, the water hydrant replacement, even though it's only $30,000, I think it should still be on the capital plan because it's a multi-year request, and so it's really, if it's a 3-year request, it's really a $90,000 project. You'll see one thing on there, for example, underwater, there's some storage tank maintenance for $1 million. That's something they're hoping to get funded from outside of their own enterprise funds. They're looking at some PFAS settlement through the litigation that they're involved in. So there's other sources of funding that we always try to capture, but I'll just quickly hand this out before I read you my other items. Hey, feel free, you don't have to stick around for this if you guys want to go.
Thank you.
Good night, thank you.
Next, just sticking on the financial issues, we're continuing to work on our health insurance budget. Again, we're very, very concerned about health insurance. Did I hand out the wrong sheet? I just want to make sure I can see.
No, I have multiple, so I'm just.
Oh,
making sure
I think I
went
just gave you an extra
Okay.
one by
All right,
mistake.
just making sure I'm not looking at-
So, we're very concerned about our health insurance budget. Every town, as you just read the paper, read the South Shore News, everybody's in the same dilemma. What we're generally told right now is expect a double-digit increase, but the problem is double-digit doesn't tell me if it's 10% or 19%, and there's a very large difference there, and this is one of our largest cost centers. We're continuing to do everything we can. We had an insurance advisory committee meeting earlier today, looking at various aspects of things that we are able to control, so we're working on it. What's tricky is the timing, because the longer we wait to get a firm number from Blue Cross, the better off we'll be. But the longer we wait, then we're kind of running out of time, and it kind of ties our hands, understanding what we're able to accommodate in the budget. So it's the same kind of dance every year. So when we get to the point where we really need to know, we'll push that button and continue to advocate as forcefully as we can that our claims history and, warrants, a reasonable increase. But it's very difficult throughout the nation right now. Next, I've been continuing to work with our state legislative delegation to help push the town charter through. Again, there seems to be a little bit of dysfunction between the House and the Senate. We're hoping that this gets passed soon. The town, the board, we've all done everything we're supposed to do. It's just in the hands of the state legislature. So hopefully they will get that sorted out soon. And then the two big projects we're working on, the bicentennial track being the first one. We're going back before the Conservation Commission on January 13th with our engineer. That could likely be the last meeting before Conservation. Hopefully we'll have addressed all of the technical issues they want, given the wetlands at that site. And then lastly, we're working with our owner's project manager on the fire station project, getting contract with the architect going, all their subcontracts, and working on the plans and specs for the demo of the Lincoln School, and just phasing the whole project going forward. So a lot going on, especially as we head into budget season. But that's my report for tonight.
Thank you, Doug.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
With the health insurance, have you guys thought about a high deductible plan?
Yeah, we have, and
Okay.
we're actively working on that.
All right, excellent.
Yep.
All right.
I have a question too related to the budget. A lot of the talk, towns investigating pushing Plymouth County on the OPEB catch-up and trying to extend that out, and I know there's been asks. Are we involved in those discussions?
So I've been advocating for that for a long time now. Pretty much every town manager has. I know that a few towns have brought them in publicly to board meetings to discuss it. We might want to do that at some point. Mike and I.
Doug, you can reference our discussion.
Yeah, Mike and I were talking about this earlier, and we thought it would make sense to wait a little bit longer through the budget process. Let's see how we shake out, and if our back is really up against it, and the only way we're going to be able to accommodate that is with some draconian reductions, then maybe it's time we ask some of the folks from the county to come in and see if we can, push to do that. But we thought we'd wait a little bit longer and let's just see how things shake out.
And I'll put that out to the rest of the board if you guys think that that's the wrong direction. My feeling was, based on the number that Doug presented to us as early as it was, I was expecting a little bit of a higher number. So my thought process was that Doug, Scott, and the rest of the financial team takes a look at this and sees what they can do, and if they feel as though they can actually manage it and get to that point, then we don't come back on that Plymouth County, because then we get there that much sooner, and we get that big tranche, as opposed to, pushing it further. This may not be the worst year, so it might be something where we sit back and we say, all right, we can make it through this budget season, and then maybe next year we revisit that conversation with Plymouth County. But, again, the preliminary budget that Doug gave us was so early, and you guys, from being on finance, you guys remember the first budgets that we used to get in December, because Charter said, you have to have it by December 31st.
Ignore it.
Right.
And just ignore it, really,
Yeah.
so we don't know, we have no way to figure out what the state aid is actually gonna work out to be. But I figured just wait and see, it's something that we have it's something that we can go to if we have to go to, but the preference would be to have that paid off as soon as possible. But if we have to use it, right, we find ourselves in that point where we have to start making cuts that really start affecting services and residents within the town, then that's something that we can visit. And I know that Tom O'Brien has given, some presentations to other towns. He did one to the
Yes.
town of Hanover. I watched that recently. So it's available, but maybe we just don't cash that chip in yet until we find ourselves really at a point, But I think Doug and his staff have done a very good job over the years of getting us and presenting a balanced budget. So I want to see what they can do first before we, call in the big guns,
Makes sense.
So.
Yeah, it does make sense, and some of the other towns are talking about writing a letter right now collectively to the county to ask them to extend the deadline by a few years, even I heard to 2040.
So, and with that being
So-
said, even, right, so I think
Yeah.
we've done, as a town, we've done a nice job of being fiscally responsible. And we've seen that a lot of other communities are asking for operational overrides.
Yep.
We've made it a point to not use one-time funding for operations. We use it for capital expenditures, right? So that's been kind of our goal all along, and that's been our best practice. And I think by doing this, and if we can avoid pulling that and extending that period, then we're talking about 2031, 2032, having
Yeah.
$9.5 million back in our budget.
Our operating budget,
To be
yeah.
able to pay down our debt and to take those debt exclusions off of our taxes, off of our tax rolls, and then invest it, to John's point, towards OPEB after that. Like, I'd love to see it the first couple of years where we take it and we pay off our debt exclusions, and, by the time we get to 2035, you have a couple of debt exclusions fall off the books, and we've paid some down with $9.5 million a year potentially, and I'm not making promises for future boards, this is just future planning. But if you can save that and put that and pay down our debt, then that's automatic savings to the taxpayers. And then that $9.5 million that we have available, we have unfunded OPEB liability. And that's an obligation that's not going away, that continues to go up. And now we have money that can go towards it every single year.
That's where it should go.
And we're gonna find ourselves, but I'd love to pay down the debt first, so that we're not paying on interest, and then we keep paying down, OPEB and stuff like that after
Not
that.
to say getting shovels in the ground at Union Point would get us potentially an extra.
I mean, obviously, that's gonna
Per
help
year,
us,
on
that's gonna
top of
help us.
that.
This
Yeah.
Pleasant Street, capping will definitely help us.
Yeah.
That's money that's gonna come our way too.
Yep.
But I think if we can continue to be fiscally responsible the way that we have been, and we can hold the line until the line is about to break, then we'll get to where we need to be. And if we're not, if Doug tells us that they've worked on it for a couple months and there's really hard cuts, then yeah, we can revisit that, and I'd be willing to do that to avoid those hard cuts, But, 2031, and we start having that money available to us, that's gonna put us in a unique position in Plymouth County and on the South Shore in general, because you're hearing from all these other towns that have a lot of financial difficulties that
That's
we
true.
don't have right now.
That's true.
So
And-
I guess that's my question. If other towns, are requesting to push it forward, but then we do not, are we, will that affect us?
I mean, my recommendation would be, if I get asked from other town managers, would I sign on to a letter? I'd recommend we sign on, and my thinking with that would be, I don't see any harm with it, because I imagine if I don't know if the county will extend it, but if they were to, but we're doing okay. I don't see why we couldn't accelerate our payments and stay on the same schedule we're at now. Like, I don't see why they would say no to that, but it would give us the flexibility if we have a tough budget year
Yeah,
to
it
go
makes
with this
sense. I
new
mean,
extended thing. But, so I was thinking of not driving that ship, but if it gets requested to us, that we would participate and sign on. But I'll follow your lead if you think differently.
John, what are you seeing out there? Anything like this in, what county are you guys? Bristol?
Bristol, I think we're a couple years behind. Plymouth is definitely the most aggressive, and my take on it is they're proud of that, and I think
Yes.
every town in the county could ask to push it off, and they're gonna probably say no. But, because I think they want to get this
think so
done.
too.
So I think
Well-
we could just be, barking up a tree for no reason.
Well,
but-
I know they're offering it, so they are offering it, like they've offered it to Hanover and stuff like that, right?
Oh, okay.
From what
I'm
I,
not
from what I
sure they-
understood, I mean, they presented the option.
Yeah, I'm
You know.
not sure if it was a formal offer. though.
I'm not sure that, well, I don't know.
If-
My experience on Plymouth County Advisory Board was that Plymouth County was dead set against extending it, but, maybe if enough towns,
If I
Our
do get
school
asked
committee.
from other communities to sign on to like a joint letter, is the board supportive of me signing on to that on behalf of the board?
It's the will of the board.
I think, for the reasons we spoke about, it might be a good idea in case we have a sour year and really need to.
And we could always
Incorporate it.
accelerate it, I suppose,
Right,
but.
right.
Because my fear in not doing that is I don't want to undermine the other communities that really do need that.
Well, right, I
relief,
like the
you know.
idea of collectively engaging in support.
Right,
Because the big thing is, there may be times where we need the support of other towns as well. So I think joining them with the support, and if you are in a situation where you could still expedite
right.
payments, then we're that much better
Right.
off as well.
Yeah, I guess if I knew that we could still pay quicker than everybody else, then I'd be more apt to say, go ahead. But if we can't, then I may not want to sign on to that letter, so. Because like I say, if we can make it to 2031,
We're in great shape.
we should.
Right,
Yeah.
agreed. No, we think we
Right,
all
yeah.
agree with that,
But,
yeah.
Yeah.
But I just can't, to me, it's sort of like, paying down your mortgage a little faster. If you have a 30-year mortgage, you can
Yeah, I
generally
mean,
pay it
if
off
we
sooner.
can, yeah, that
Right,
would
so I
be
can't
my-
imagine they would
yeah.
turn our money away.
I
and
don't
try
know,
to-
can they keep track of different towns on different schedules? I don't know if that's,
Right, I was gonna ask that.
yeah.
So that might be a good bring up when if you guys have the next advisory board meeting. That might be a good bring up if you can kind of get back to us, because at this point right now, Doug, even talking about this letter, it doesn't sound like it's come to fruition at all yet. This
I
is a
haven't seen it.
hypothetical,
Yep, no,
this
I
is a
haven't.
conversation.
Haven't
You haven't
seen
been approached necessarily.
Nope, I have not.
It's a hypothetical if he is asked. But in the meantime, I think the best strategy is that we leave that be and we sit back and we try to get to 2031 unless we find ourselves in a situation where we can't balance the budget without approaching. And I think if they do turn around, and to John's point, if we're able to pay that debt down on our own schedule and pay it down sooner and say, it takes us till 2031 anyway, even though we're extended to 2040, then great, as long as it doesn't prevent us from having
Right.
that funding available come
Yep.
2031.
Yep.
Does that make sense, John?
Yep.
I think so, okay. Do you feel any sense of clear direction?
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. I got it.
All right, I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
You had this look, I was like, all right.
No, I'm good.
I think that's a phone call in the morning.
No.
All right. All right, next on the agenda, select board comments. Comments and opinions expressed by individual members do not necessarily reflect the views of the select board and are the opinions and comments of only the individual member. Select board member O'Donnell.
Sure, thank you.
No notes.
No prepared statement today. There's a lot going on. I
John's comment's gonna be
bandied
awesome
back and
today.
forth with myself, but I think I'm still digesting a lot of what's happened over the last few weeks. And so I'll keep it local. I think you've seen the determination of the board and other town departments. We're really looking at ways to save money for the town to come up with a balanced budget. I appreciate what Doug and all the department heads are doing to get us to that end. Just tonight alone, talking about the Pleasant Street landfill, about $40,000 a year that we pay today on monitoring, which can be mitigated with the post-payment from Clean Earth. Dave Taylor and his proposal to continue to do work that we would typically need to hire a contractor for, some quick napkin math, saves us on average about $30,000 a year. And then the gift from Webster Park, another $50,000 to $60,000 in capital expenses that now can be pushed off for another cycle. So very thankful for all the department heads and every employee in this town, keeping our fiscal health in check. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Select Board Member Elwood.
Yeah, I just want to congratulate Sergeant Detective Greg Pigeon on his retirement after 27 years of service to the town of Rockland. Lori and I got to attend the ceremony at the middle school, which was very moving, and we are very appreciative of Sergeant Pigeon and everything that he has given to the town, and I wish him and his family the best in his retirement.
Thank you, John. Select Board Member Needham.
This new year brings a fresh opportunity to listen, collaborate, and move forward together. I'm grateful for all that work together to make Rockland what it is for our community. I'm optimistic about what we can accomplish in the year ahead, and I'd like to wish everyone a healthy, peaceful, and hopeful new year.
Thank you, Tiffany. Vice Chair Childs.
Yeah, I would also like to congratulate Greg Pigeon and his family. He had 27-plus years of service to Rockland. He was not only Sergeant Detective of our police force for several years and headed that department, but he was my neighbor. And my children know him as the house on Division Street that gave out the best Halloween candy and the best Halloween decorations. And when they moved, we sorely missed that. So, and again, a reminder, tomorrow, January 7th, is when nomination papers are available. And that leads into a letter I received. I think we all received this email from Kathleen Mahoney, South Shore Tobacco Collaborative Compliance Officer. And she had grave concerns about being on Zoom, a scheduled Zoom call for a Board of Health meeting on December 31st. She waited on the line for about 20 minutes, and it was again a no-show by Robert Stevens and his mother. So she feels it's extremely important to make some sort of decision and policy regarding kratom, and I agree with that. It's unregulated, and it has been causing harm in many communities, including ours. So again, nomination papers are available tomorrow, and if there's anybody out there that will step up for the Board of Health, I think we have many other positions open too, but particularly that one, it would be appreciated, and you'd be doing a solid for Rockland.
Thank you, Lori. That's really what I was going to touch on tonight. Doug and I have been making many efforts to get in touch with Chairman Stevens. Doug did have a quick email back and forth with him to arrange for him to come into the town hall and sign some warrants, and Mr. Stevens chose not to show for the scheduled time to appear, which seems to be a trend with him, posting meetings on December 31st and then not coming in for that. I've called him personally over 20 times, and he's not answering any phone calls. He's not getting back to me at all. Sent him text messages, he's not replying. I want to apologize to the members of the community that are putting up with this. Unfortunately, there is nothing as members of the Board of Selectmen that we can really do. We've explored all sorts of options to push him to have these meetings at a regular scheduled time and show up for him and do the business of the town. He's just non-responsive at this point. I don't know what we can do further from this point, but I reiterate what Laurie said. Nomination papers are available tomorrow in the town clerk's office, and let's get some people in there that are willing to do the job, that want to do the job. So, and with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn and enter into executive session for review and approval of executive session minutes per Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A7, for 7/12/22, 8/9/22, 8/29/22, 10/4/22, 11/1/22, 12/6/22, 3/7/23, and 12/16/25, not to reconvene. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion, second. All those in favor, roll call. Select Board Member Needham?
Yes.
Select Board Member Elwood,
Yes.
Select Board Member O'Donnell,
Yes.
Vice Chair Childs.
Yes.
And myself. That's unanimous. Thank you.